It's time for another Dirt Daily, and today I'm going to put a new bumper on the front of my old farm truck. This is Snowflake, and I bought this truck after we used it on Dirt Every Day, and we modified it to be a snowmobile, and it really didn't work very well. But what it does do well as, in fact it does great as, is my farm truck. I use this thing for running errands, for hauling junk. The bed is all destroyed. The wheel wells are all smashed up. We also trimmed the back of the bed when we made it into a snowmobile, which we tried to hang a rear axle off the back and put chains on everything. It does have a cool roll bar on it and some big off-road lights, and it has a bunch of junk that just kind of rides around in the back of it. But mostly it's just a farm truck. It's good for hauling stuff, running to the parts yard, running to the junkyard. And the front bumper is the factory bumper, but it's been spray painted and it's been trimmed and it's just kind of rotten. And I want to see if I can put something better up front. This truck is a 2007 Chevy 2500. It is the last year of one body style and the first year of another body style. And those body styles are very different looking, plus they have a different frame. One is the GMT 800 frame and the other is the GMT 900 frame. Now, this truck, we used it, it's got a lot of miles on it. I love the thing. It has a 6-liter LS engine, has a 6L80 automatic transmission, manually shifted transfer case. The rear axle is a 14-bolt, has a little bit of a lift. It has a camber upper arm, some Fox shocks, some 35-inch BFGs, and I use this truck all the time. It's a regular cab. I can fit both of my dogs in it. The air conditioning cranks, the heat works great. It has a few little things over the years. It has over 250,000 miles on it. So there's a bunch of creaks and moans you get in and out of it. The suspension's got a couple clunks in it. It has had to have a new transmission put in. We put one in from Gear Star a few years back. But overall, it's a great truck. And I use this thing all the time, and it's really kind of loved and abused. Like the paint's all rotten on it. It used to have some stripes on it. I peeled those off. The front bumper is the factory bumper. We trimmed it and spray painted it black, and it's chrome, and spray paint on chrome just doesn't last. It's all peeling off. So I was like, what could I do to make this truck better? It's cool, but it could definitely be cooler. But I also am like, I know it's just my work truck. I don't need to make it super fancy. I don't need to spend a bunch of time and money on it. So I thought about a bumper that would make this thing more useful. And what it really needs is a winch on the front. And this truck is a GMT 900, and I just took a bumper off of a GMT 800 truck. That was my 3/4 ton Chevy Avalanche. And it's sitting over here in this pile of parts. So I know these trucks are different, but I don't know how different. And I did some measuring, and I think I can make that bumper work on this frame. In fact, I even talked to some friends at GM, and they're like, oh, it'll bolt right on, won't be any problem at all. So I'm gonna find out today if it bolts right on, or if I need to hammer it on or cut and weld it on. But somehow I wanna get that bumper on the front of this truck, because it'll give me two things. It'll give me some off-road lights, it'll give me a better look. I guess it'll give me three things. It'll give me a winch. And having a winch on your farm truck is great. So many times I've had to move dead vehicles around, and I want to be able to wheel this thing. I don't really wheel it that much, but over time, I want to kind of spruce it up a little bit and make it into a wheeling rig because it's a great truck. It's a good size. It's a regular cab, long bed. Nobody drives those anymore. Everybody has a crew cab these days. I think regular cabs are cool. And I have this bumper and it's sitting in the way. And I have lots of other projects that I should be working on, but getting that bumper off the floor of the shop and cleaning up the shop a little bit will make me feel better. And I'm gonna put it on this truck today because I think if I just unbolt this thing and I figure out how to get that on there, I'll have fixed a bunch of problems and also cleaned up the shop. So let's get to work. Now, I said something, I may have misspoke because I said that this bumper that I'm gonna put on here off of the Avalanche will make this look better. I don't know if that's true. Like, I don't even know if it's like wide enough, if it's gonna wrap around, if it's gonna follow the body line. But again, farm truck, not super concerned with aesthetics. Maybe it'll look cool. Some people already told me they didn't like how it looked on the Avalanche. So those people that said that probably won't like it on this truck either. But if it mounts good and it has a winch on it and has some more off-road lights, it will be better than this. I mean, this is fine. It's not really great. I think it looks better when we trimmed it because these trucks have this huge corner piece and it's like when it's chrome, it's like this giant mirror and I just don't like how those look. I think it looks better like this, but again, don't really care about aesthetics. Just want to get the bumper on and maybe we'll be lucky. Maybe it'll look cool. All right, let's see what's under here. Okay, there's these big beefy tow hooks, which are great, but I think I need the bumper will actually slide over the frame rail here. And then there's these brackets that hold the bumper onto the truck. So those need to be undone. And then out here at the end, there's like a support bracket that goes out to the corner. So if I remove those support brackets, remove these tow hooks, and remove these brackets, I think the bumper will come right off. Or we'll find out what's holding it on. Oh, come on. All right. There. That was easy. I always keep factory tow hooks. I don't know why. I think because they're beefy, they're usually forged steel. And even if you're building something or you need a cool tie down point on something custom, these are always kind of cool and beefy, so I'll throw these on my scrap parts pile. The frame rail on this end here is pretty whooped out. You can see here how it's all bent open, probably from getting yanked on that tow hook and trying to get drug out of something. So I have a feeling this section here, which is kind of wider and bent around, may need to be heated up and beat into place in order to get the bumper on. But kind of had a feeling it was going to take a little bit of abuse to get it to work. The truck without the bumper, not very pretty. Hopefully the new bumper will blend in a little bit with some of the body lines. All right, let's drag that thing out here. Here's the bumper that came off the Avalanche. This bumper was custom built at FabWorks in Santa Rosa, California, and it was built to go onto the frame rail. There's two pockets, one on this side and one on that side, and they would basically slide over the tips of the frame rail, and then there's holes drilled through it, and bolts would run through and lock it all into place. And I don't know how easily it's going to be to fit on this. When I measure the inside plates, it's 28 5/8, which should fit inside these two just fine. The outside is going to be trickier because the outside is 35 5/8, and when I measure across here, it looks like 35 3/4. But the edges of this are really kind of beat up and kind of splayed outward. So I'm going to grab the torch, heat all this, hammer it all back on both sides, and try to get it so it's a little bit narrower. And then I'll probably hit the opening edge on the bumper with a grinder and try to get a little bevel on it, hoping that with a little bit of luck and some massaging on both sides, we can get it to slide on. And I believe that at least one of these bolt holes will line up with one of these bolt holes here. I'm hoping for this top one, and then we can make the rest of them work if we have to drill it out and decide how that's going to go. I'm not going to take the bumper and the lights off and just leave all that stuff on. Probably lift it up and guide it in with the engine hoist. And then, if you recall, when I took this bumper off of the Avalanche, it took a little bit of abuse. I had to hammer on it with a sledgehammer out on the ends to get it to pop off. So I might have to do a little bit of hammering or come along or chain or something to kind of pull it back onto this frame. Because like I said before, this is the GMT 900 frame, a little bit different than the GMT 800 frame, which was the platform under the Avalanche. But the Avalanche was an 03, this is an 07. Not that many years difference. I'm hoping that things are pretty close, and I'm hoping it all goes together. All right, let's heat it and beat it. Oh, I think we can make it work. It's going to be tight. I flattened this edge out. I kind of beveled it in. I put a little grind on it. I cleaned it up as best I can. There's a spacer inside here, and I don't want to remove that so that when it's bolted in, it can kind of sandwich down onto that. But all of this, that distance from there to there is right about the same as what's on the bumper. So I think we are now like a 1/16 of an inch narrower on the frame than on the bumper. So I'm gonna grab the engine hoist and kind of line everything up, spray this down with something, WD-40, maybe a little grease, maybe a little anti-seize, something to kind of lubricate it up so that I can get this thing to slide on there and get some bolts in there. I'm gonna hit this little section of the body with a little black paint, just because it's going to be kind of hanging out down here, and I think it will disappear a little bit better. A little bit of spray paint on there. Throw a little grease on the frame rail and inside the bumper. I got the bumper hanging from the engine hoist here. I'm gonna roll this thing up, see if it wants to all go together and play nice. See if there's anything we forgot or missed. Bump this guy up a little bit. Oh, look at that. It really wants to go together. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right, I think I need to lower it down a little bit. Come on. Look at that. All right. Lower it down some more. So as I lower it down, it kind of rolls out, and then it lines up better with the frame rail. If you look in here, all of this space that's been ground over, I kind of want to get this bumper all the way up to this body mount. And there's a hole right about there, which I'm hoping will line up with this hole. And so I'm going to just try to hammer this thing back on there until it's all the way around the frame rail. I may need to grab a piece of wood so I can put a little beat down on it. But I think if I go from side to side and slowly work it back on there, hopefully get some of these holes lined up, or at least one of the holes lined up. I have 4 holes on this side. I think there's 3 on the other side. If I can get one of them lined up, then I can get a bolt in there, and then we can drill out the other ones to make it secure. I could weld it on. I don't know if this bumper's ever going to come off and go onto another truck, but I think for now I'm just going to try and bolt it on. Hopefully I'll have some holes that line up on it. Thing's playing hard to get on. Oh, okay. So the bottom of the frame is hitting the bottom of the box. So I need to loosen up the lift and lower it all down. Okay. There we go. I think we can send it home now. Oh yeah. Come on, bumper. It's working. Out of the way. Now we can get on here. That's working. It's closing up the gap. Oh yeah, I think we're down to about 1 inch on either side. All of our lights are clearing, our winch is clearing, nothing's crashing into the radiator or the grill. It actually doesn't look half bad. All right, let's get a new block of wood. Come on. Oh, I'm just about lined up on 1 bolt hole. If I can get 1 bolt hole lined up. How's this side? This side needs to come in a bit. Oh boy. I might have to lose these blocks of wood and just go. This one's just about lining up, but with a different bolt hole. There. It doesn't look terrible. I mean, it's a little funky, but it's kind of more pre-runnery than before. And there's a big gap underneath that headlight, but I'm not really too concerned about it. Plus, this bumper's been smashed into stuff when we raced the Avalanche. So those tubes could be crooked by now. There's a nice big dent in this one. But I got 2 big off-road lights to go with the 2 up top, ARB intensities, and then I got a worn 10,000 pound winch underneath there, which should be plenty for this truck and for any junk that I have laying around that I want to drag out. All right, I'm going to beat some bolts into this thing and call it a day. Bumper is on. I wired up the winch even. I got these 2 bolts in down here on the passenger side, and they are pretty good. That top hole on the top left, I'm gonna have to drill a hole all the way through it, or I might just rosette weld it right in there to kind of add a little extra beef. Now, driver's side's a little bit trickier. I got a tow hook installed, so I have 2 bolts in the bottom, but I need this top left bolt hole because that's the one that has the sleeve in it. And unfortunately, it does not line up with the hole in the bumper. So I'm going to have to, if you can just kind of make out that white dot that is about 5 o'clock, I'm going to drill there a pilot hole and then slowly step it up until I get as big as I can before it gets all wonky. Then I'll probably grab a carbide die grinder and open up the hole on this side. And once this side's open up, then I can run a longer drill bit all the way through, and probably 7/16 and then maybe step it up to 1/2 inch so that I can put a bolt through the top of this, because that's probably the most important bolt hole, because that has the sleeve in the frame. So it's coming together. I don't know why the bolt holes don't line up perfectly. Probably slight changes over the years, but if you look down inside there, you can probably see that hole even better and see the white spot that I'm going to drill at. So let's get to stepping it up. Okay, we have a pilot hole which lines up, I'm estimating, at the center of the sleeve. So now I'm going to step that up with consecutively larger bits and try to get a nice clean hole on this side, or at least a nice clean slotted hole, oblong hole, or something that I can get a 1/2 inch bolt through to hold this bumper on. All right, we're getting there. It's very ugly, but now I'll probably grab a carbide bit, die grinder, and wallow this hole out, and then I can punch a 1/2 inch drill all the way through, make a nice clean hole on the other side. This is the tool that I'm talking about. That carbide bit has a bunch of little teeny tiny knives on it that just root out the hole, and then it's on an air hose. And this thing's not fun to use. It sprays tons and tons of little slivers and splinters off of that. So you probably want to wear gloves. I'll probably dig up some gloves. And then I'm going to get this in here and just kind of root that hole out and get it nice and round, or more round, so I can fit a large drill bit and bolt through it. Bit butchered, but it's going to work. Now I have to take a drill and drill through the sleeve, and you can kind of see on the other side it is not lined up with the hole at all. But when I run a 1/2 inch drill bit through this sleeve, it'll help center it, and then I can get it drilled all the way through. Also, you're going to want to grab the shop vac. Get all those shavings up off of the floor. Don't let the dog walk through that. He'll have splinters. Don't roll around in it without your t-shirt on. You'll have splinters too. Did it. I got a hole all the way through. It's a little bit ugly, but I'm going to throw an extra wide washer on the bolt, and it'll hide the hole. And like I said, I might come in here with the welder and just do a little rosette weld. I don't know if it really needs it to make me feel better. And then I won't have that hole. I could try and drill that, but there's no sleeve in that one. And I already have this bolt down here and this bolt here, and the same on the other side. So I feel like it's going to be plenty strong for whatever trouble I'm going to get into with this truck. I think that looks great. It's a little rough. Could use a coat of paint, but I mean, the whole truck's a little rough. I mean, it looks like this bumper has been on this truck for 50,000 miles. So I don't really feel bad about it. I think it's going to be perfect. Plus, I have some ARB intensity lights down here on the bumper, plus the ones up on the roll bar, and a Warn VR 10,000 winch. This was like the entry-level winch from Warn when we built this bumper, and it has synthetic rope. The synthetic rope is great. It might need to be re-spooled and inspected. It might be time to replace it. It's been on there for quite a few years. But overall, I'm stoked with it. I have a winch now. Makes my farm truck that much more useful. And I think I'm going to keep doing a few more things to it. If anybody knows of a line on an 8-foot bed for this era truck. This was the 07 and up. 8-foot bed, preferably white, but I'm not too picky. And I think if I could replace the bed, get rid of the bed that has all the holes in it and where we cut it out, and then maybe build a nicer rear bumper or find a rear bumper to put on this thing, then I think it would be that much more perfect as a farm truck. I'm not trying to make it great. I just, clean it up a little bit here and there. Probably could use a bath. But that's it for this Dirt Daily. I recycled another part off of the Avalanche. That makes me feel good. I got some junk off of the floor so I can clean up in here a little bit more. And I can mark one more thing off my list. Now it's time to get back to all the other trucks and Jeeps and projects around here. That's it. We'll see you guys next time. I think it looks great. Haters gonna hate.